And then I thought I was done, but I guess not. Some other things came to me because I wrote it in the description of that last video I just did Friday morning. What is it, October 2nd? It was important. A couple things. When I ask a question, like the one video about light warriors, asking a question, light worker, light warriors, this may seem sort of silly, but it's like, do we already know the answer before we ask the question? Yes, we do. How do we know that? Because all of the answers can be given to you through who? Source. So when you're running the most powerful vortex, it means you're connected to the highest intelligence in the cosmos. You ask a question, it'll come back to you. Okay? I know that because I experienced that. So I share that experience with others. So that means that all the answers are in the field. Now physicists call that the unified field. I call it universal consciousness, universal love, universal peace, universal law, universal free will, okay? And another way to describe it might be, for example, the morphogenetic field structure, the field, okay? So we're talking about the speed of the transmission, the speed in which the data or the information or the experience is being experienced between one being and another being, which means on the other side of the planet. So that means that if I'm experiencing something right now, I can send an answer to a question that exists in somebody else's mind in another classroom in Asia. And if you look at the work that's been done by Rupert Sheldrake, who's a microbiologist, he did an enormous amount of research and work with the morphogenetic field structure. How fast are we communicating with each other? Now, I'm not talking about artificial intelligence. I'm talking about the cosmic intelligence of source and soul and spirit and density consciousness. Okay? We don't need technology to communicate. Okay? My heart has powerful neurotransmitters that communicate high-speed waves of information so that another being in another part of the morphogenetic field structure can experience what I'm experiencing, which is more love, which is more light. Wow. That's called transmutation. That's one of the reasons why, for example, why would a guy like me decide to come to Reno, Nevada when I could be sitting in the Hawaiian Islands enjoying energy that's way the heck up there? You know, what I call goddess energy, being around living magma. Because there are certain places that we're prompted to go in order to do what? Bring in more light. Be a lighthouse. That helps others that are running lower density consciousness to begin to experience the higher density consciousness, and we call that clearing the field, okay, or raising the light. So an example of that would be an experience that I had that I'll share with all of you, okay? I had been down in a place called Lop Hoi Hoi, which is where sometimes the energies are just like, wow, man, it's like being plugged into the transformer of the cosmos, the highest one you can experience. Man, you know these are higher dimensional energies, and that's what you are. You're a hyperdimensional being. So I thought to myself, my God, so it's like my battery's just fully charged, okay? So I had to go to the courthouse the next morning on a traffic ticket that I got for a signal that wasn't working right? Just more bullshit. Real different function to suck money out of your wallet. So anyway, besides the fact that the address coincidentally on that courthouse in Hilo, Hawaii, what do you think the number address is on that courthouse? 777. Okay, that's why they wear dark robes. They're in the business of sucking money out of you, which is energy out of you, which is forbidden. So what happens is that when I got off the elevator to go to the second floor, as soon as I walked out, I looked directly right down the hallway where the courtrooms were, and I could see 4 police officers in uniform that were getting ready to go in and testify. So how many people do you know that walk into a courthouse and where they have to appear where they're in a state of love and joy, knowing they got to appear before an authority figure, like a parent, an abusive parent, somebody who's there, what are they going to do to me? What are they going to do to me? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? That's a fear-based realm. That's what 777 means. So what happened is, as I'm walking down the hallway, I looked to my left. I could see the flat faces, the concern, the energy. I'm reading the energy of these police officers. As I started walking down there, all of a sudden they turned around and they were all looking directly at me. And they were now experiencing a lighthouse. and you could see the corresponding increase in the transfer of the light energy that is in me as an energy storage device, broadcasting the higher frequencies, and you could experience in real time the increase, almost like now time incremental frequencies going up in all four of these officers, and they all had smiles on their faces looking at me as I walked by. And I waved. How y'all doing? Brent, put him in a state of love and joy. You got nothing to worry about. See how that works? It's beautiful to experience that, because that's called restoration of the light that we all experience. That reminded me of a video that I saw yesterday when I thought to myself, actually the message was, imagine that everything that you touch, you're healing. Imagine that. Imagine you're restoring the light in everybody, which allows them to feel the love you have in your heart through their heart. Okay? That's the power of the power plant in your heart. Most powerful vortex you have. To spin as much light as you got, which is as much love as you got, which is infinite. And share all that love with everybody. So one of the things I want to make sure I got done before I leave here is what I wrote in the previous video, and that's important. Okay, so I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, right? I'm a vampire. And I realized, hey, I'm losing all my food here. Uh-oh. Man. Remember, this is an Energizer bunny like a whack-a-mole. Man, it just cannot. It's feeding on you. And it realized, uh-oh, I'm going to lose my food supply. What do you think I would do if I realized I'm losing my food supply? I would be cranking up the fear porn, wouldn't I? Like crazy. An asteroid's going to hit us. All this other stuff is going to happen to me. Oh, no. You get it? It means they know. Bye. So they're desperate. Their lower density parasitic consciousness is freaking out. So they're throwing the kitchen sink at everybody because they're panicked. We're going to lose them. We're going to lose them. We're going to lose them. That's right. That is precisely correct. This is called the separation in the herd, or a separation in the density, which means, listen, you're done feeding on us, okay? We gave you all you're going to get. That's it. We are not going to miss you. We're going to a higher dimension. That's a higher density. That means that people don't feed on us there. We're autonomous. We are free to be who we are, okay? We're not feeding on each other. We got everything that we need, okay? They're still needing to feed on the energy because they can't generate any light. They can't generate any love. So they're not source-based love. They run dead light. That's like dead spirit. Okay? So they're not among the living. That's why they wear black robes. That's why their number is 777, otherwise known as the Book of the Dead. So they are the dead. So the only way that they can experience us is by feeding on us. Okay? That's why they go after children. The purity of the innocence. Because they know that children are not contaminated. They don't want to experience the contamination that represents who they are in the adult. Because who caused all that? They did. And humanity gave consent to it, which is why we experience it. We experience the contamination we gave consent to. So at some point, you got to be able to kick out all the toxic data, which represents all the toxic contamination that is represented by what we allowed to give consent to. Why is that? Because we couldn't get our consciousness up. We couldn't get the wave speed communication up. And of course, all you got to do is look at all their demonic technology and realize what they were using in order to keep us in a vice. Okay? Which means holding us in a cage. Okay? Holding the energy that we experience in a cage. It's like a vice on top of our head. Remember, like I mentioned before, it's like when I came in here, it was like, man, I went to universal consciousness. Like the size of a pinhead. So you stay in your heart. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. So you navigate through the energy field. Okay? Always transmuting everywhere that you go. That's the nature of an empath. An empath is basically a Star Trek navigator, which means restoration wherever we go, bringing the energy up. So that means we absorb all of it. So we have to find a way to burn it off. And we're able to do that. Because the amount of fire that we have in our soul is a hot furnace that allows our light to burn hot. Okay? So they can't hold our consciousness captive. Okay? That's the trick. Okay? Anyway, that's the good news. Because the more that they keep increasing all their fear-based porn is going to accelerate the collapse of their timeline and increase the acceleration of ours to say bye. I'll leave you with that. Have a great day. Bye now.